Matt Hunt here with MDH Technologies. Thank you for joining me. Today's discussion is about server administration and just kind of an unstructured, off-the-cuff conversation. Wanted to discuss some of the typical things, functions that we provide to customers in terms of server administration. Although this is not a comprehensive list, this does include the most common things that we provide. Starting with Active Directory, right? This is being able to create users and groups and delegate permissions to things like shares. Setting password policies and that kind of thing, which really brings me into the next function is managing something called group policy, which allows you to create map drives and once again create certain security and policy for the environment, there's so many things that you can do in group policy. I'm not going to go over much of them today, but just know that familiarity with group policy and how it works is important for a solid server administrator. Third, backups. So you want to make sure that your server is being backed up, right? Because the server is the centralized storage for basically everything, right? If you properly implement a Microsoft server environment, for example, many administrators will choose to enable something called document or folder redirection, which essentially just means that all of the contents of your computer, your PC, are actually redirected to the server, so that administrators can simply back up the server and they get all the data across the network. Also, so that it's easy to replace a PC and the documents can simply be either synchronized or just accessed from a map drive or a network share on the server, and you don't experience any kind of data loss or anything. So that brings us to virtualization management. Virtualization is very popular these days, and it really is a very great technology. It allows you to do more with less, almost, at least in terms of physical servers. Now, there are some situations where you may not want to virtualize, and those things are important to know as well. But managing a virtualized environment is not as simple as knowing how to operate a hypervisor like VMware or Hyper-V or something. There's more to it. There are system requirements and things that need to be taken into account, and knowing what you can and cannot replicate, and making sure that you allocate the correct amount of resources in security and this sort of thing. So virtualization management is very important. Also, storage management. Depending upon the size of environment, some places may actually have a dedicated storage manager, right, or a storage administrator. Smaller environments won't need that, and that'll fall on the responsibility of a server or a network administrator. The specific applications or servers that you're running is important because just to call yourself a server administrator doesn't necessarily mean that you're familiar with those specific applications. So some of the most common servers that we administer here at MDH Technologies include email servers such as Microsoft Exchange, database servers such as SQL, and web servers such as IIS. Now, for the conversation today, I've only really discussed primarily Microsoft technology, or Microsoft software, rather, and that is because that is what we find that's typical with our customers, but we can certainly assist with other operating systems that are Linux-based as well. There's just less of that in a business environment as opposed to a web hosting environment or a web hosting company where it would be primarily Linux. So it's not uncommon, in addition, that you'd find mixed environments where you've got some Windows and Linux, but primarily in those situations it may be like 90% Windows and 10% Linux or something, just roughly. And we can certainly help with those environments as well. And which brings me to another interesting point. Knowing how to sort of integrate and work with both operating systems on the same network is important as well. So those are some of the basic functions and some of the basic things that we typically need to manage with most of our customers. And just wanted to also touch on real quick kind of a couple things that you want to avoid. So the first thing that you want to avoid is hiring an individual that has a full-time job already, right? More than likely, that person will not be available in an emergency situation if they've already got a full-time job somewhere. So that you definitely want to avoid that. The second thing you want to avoid is hiring somebody that's more of a computer enthusiast, maybe somebody that's good with computers, but they're not formally trained or they're not certified, so they're not truly an IT professional. They're more of a computer enthusiast. So it's best to stay away from that situation as well, because then you're going to get into a situation where maybe you're paying that person to learn on your systems, and that could be absolutely catastrophic and really quite expensive as well. So watch out for those that are not certified or that are more enthusiasts than anything else. And look for the guys that are, and the guys that are familiar with the type of servers and the technology that you're using. You'll have a much better experience and a much smoother running network and smoother running servers. Matt Hund with MDH Technologies, I greatly appreciate your time. I hope that you'll check out some of the other pages on our website, and would really like to talk about your IT needs. If you'd like to give us a call, I would certainly like to make myself available for a conversation with you. Thank you for your time.